Attention shoppers, we've got to clean up on Aisle H.
What the other wolves think?
A true crime cleanup on Aisle H.
Diabolical.
Starting now.
No, he's telling you that she's bats.
Howdy, wholeheads. Kurt Money here, alongside my co-host,
Kateline.
and we're here to talk about a brand new true crime show that just hit the airwaves less than a month ago, called The Killer Among Us. I'm going to get your thoughts, Kate, but first I'm going to read you the Google description cut in half. So this is kind of like a KMDB, okay? Because naturally the Google told you all the fun stuff in one sentence. It's like, anyway.
What are we doing?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. This aired June 28th of 2026 on Zekok.
Also the Oxygen Network.
Oh, yeah. Probably there originally, but we're seeing it on the cock. Okay, here we go. In a state-of-the-art laboratory at Yale University, a brilliant bride-to-be winds up missing, making suspects of everyone within the ivy-clad walls. Kateline, what'd you think of this bad boy?
Well, as you know, I'm the one who said we should do an episode of this show.
Oh, yeah, this is your pick. I forgot. Of course.
It is my pick. I didn't pick this episode, but I picked this show.
Yeah, which one did you pick again, Kate? Which one was it?
The first one.
I forgot to rewatch before this. I'm going to feel confident and roast you on air for that first ep.
That's fine. I enjoyed the first ep. We don't have to talk about it. So here's what I like about this show.
Yeah.
Alan Cumming is the host. They are, I assume, playing on his character on The Traitors, the popularity of that, and moving it into the true crime space. Because he's still doing commentary from like a European castle like he does on The Traitors. I think it's like, let's just film you here while you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. 1,000%.
And people really like the way he says murder.
Right.
Somewhere inside these walls, a murderer is hiding in plain sight.
And I think that alone is the premise for this show. We love the way Alan Cumming says murder. Let's do another true crime show. And he can say murder every episode.
I don't doubt that one bit. This is why I avoided the show. I got nothing against Alan Cumming. I don't watch The Traitors, but I'm aware it exists. And I know it's a huge hit and stuff. And I avoided this just simply on the premise of like, it annoys me when you've got a hot property, people will find ways to squeeze it in any way they can. And it's just what you're saying. It's like, all right, well, we're in between Traitor seasons. Let's have him host one of these dime a dozen crime shows, because this certainly is not a premise to write home about. It's someone within your circle.
No, it's not. However, I do appreciate the lengths that these producers went to try to make these murders all be like that.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them are a stretch where it's like, the killer could be any one of us.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that could be said for any murder.
Absolutely. And look, I will say though, when you were really talking it up and stuff, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. It's absolutely watchable. I love Alan Cumming. So it is like a down the line crime show that I think works. And I'm excited that there are 10 eps this season, not just 7 or 8. But yeah, that's just simply sour grapes talking. Because I just think like the amount of the lengths I've gone to try and pitch true crime shows specifically, let alone any type of show, but specifically true crime shows, and it doesn't work. And it's like, well, don't worry, if something else happens. Anyway, sour grapes.
Good, honey.
We were trying to think about where else we saw this case. I don't think it was a Dateline. From my rudimentary Googling, it was A Killer Instinct with Chris Hansen, which I've never watched. And then there's also a See No Evil episode, which I have partied with, but it's on Discovery Plus, and I canceled that. It's in season 6. But I have a feeling I may have seen the See No Evil episode.
I think I just may have seen it on the news.
Oh, I get that. All right, well, let's dive in. Our story begins September 8th, 2009 in New Haven, Connecticut. We are at Yale University. A woman calls campus police to report that her roommate is missing, Annie Lay. She is a 24-year-old PhD student in pharmacology. I had to make sure of this because she called campus police.
Student at Yale University calls the Yale Police Department to report her roommate missing.
Like, there are 3 levels of officers that we're dealing with here, which was confusing at first. But so what happens? They call the campus police, says, my roommate hasn't been here all day. What's going on? We don't hear a 911 call. I assume because it was campus police.
No, the campus police, they go see where she may have been. She had been at work, which was on campus in one of the graduate labs.
Yeah, and what's weird to the roommate is, okay, she's not home and she should be, but also she's getting married this weekend. This is a Tuesday.
She really should be around because she was in full wedding prep and she wasn't planning to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So it's very unusual that she would just disappear this week of all weeks.
Yeah, and they show us a Facebook post of hers that says, like, I'm excited for my wedding week. Do you know where I'm going with this, Kate? Did you see what else this Facebook post said?
No.
This gave it some more urgency than it otherwise would have had.
Okay, so I had like a picture of her wall or whatever. Like, think Facebook circa 09. And it says her, like, Annie Lay is excited for the wedding week. And then somebody else said, hope you have fun at your weed-ing. And it said W-E-E-D in all caps and then lowercase I-N-G. What do you make of that?
I don't know.
She is like a scientist saving the world. So I feel like this might be a dorky joke by a fellow scientist about literally weeding somehow. I don't know what else to think about.
It's not about marijuana. These two
right?
were not doing drugs.
Okay,
You see pictures of her and her fiance, and they are not trouble. Let's just say that. Squeaky clean.
Hey, good luck in your weeding. What's up?
Weird.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a neighbor that she talks about gardening with. Is my final guess.
Or is it an accent, like some kind of like villain accent from a movie that they like?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The bottom line is what we agree on. It has nothing to do with marijuana.
Nothing to do with it.
Right. Okay, so yeah, she's getting married. She's missing. The campus police reach out to her fiance, Jonathan, who is at Columbia University in New York, about 80 miles away. And do you remember what Jonathan says? He's like, we don't really talk during the day. We're both so busy. Mm-hmm. But he was supposed to get a call from her at 7 p.m. that night, and she hadn't. And that's what motivated the roommate to call campus police. So if I was this fiance when I got the call from the cops, it'd have been like, you're here because I called you guys.
Right.
Like, I know that I'm number one on your list right now, but
I'm
like
very far away at a different college, and it was my idea in the first place to call y'all. Yeah.
And when her roommate reached out with the news she never came home, he encouraged her to call campus police.
So they're like, all right, well, we want to talk to you. So he's going to make that trip. So while he's making that happen, the roommate tells cops that when she went to work, she was in a green top and a brown skirt. Her routine is the same. She goes to work at the lab and then comes home, and because she lives super close too, right? They go to her office. It doesn't look like there was a tussle going on in her office area, but what do they find in there?
They find all of her stuff. Her phone, her wallet, her keys, her bag. It's like she went in to work, and at some point during the day,
yeah,
she just vanished.
Yeah, and so we're still just with the campus police. So they go, all right, well, let's talk to her parents. They ring them up. They're on the other side of the country. They're in California. Mm-hmm. And they just confirm, yeah, she was getting married. There's no reason why she would bounce. So now the campus police is probably like relieved. It's like, all right, good. Now we can hand this off.
Yep.
Because they call New Haven police and the FBI show up.
Yeah.
The FBI are involved.
The FBI is involved, I think, because it's Yale.
Dude,
it's kind of high profile.
Yeah, that didn't cross my mind this entire episode. While I was taking notes, rewatching it, it never once crossed my mind that this got more attention because it was like a fancy pants lab. Uh-huh. But when I was reading about this case, because I wanted to know deets, something the episode left out, and they were talking about how at the time people were critical of how much people cared because it was like a fancy pants school and stuff.
There's kids that go missing every day and no one cares. But because it's Yale and it's this like very fancy, this Amistad lab where she was working is like world renowned. So this was a big deal.
Have you heard of it? No, right?
No.
You're basing this all on what the show says?
I am not a scientist.
Right. Well,
there you go. There's some insight into Kateline.
It's true.
Not a scientist.
Okay. All right. Put it in the book. So New Haven police and FBI come in. Now it's time for the victimology. Let's find out who Annie is. We get her background, and she was valedictorian, like a scholarships in STEM. Take it away, Kate. I know what I think of when I think of STEM. Help me out here.
What do you mean?
What? About a bunch of ladies got into it because of Scully.
Oh.
Scully, or however you say it.
You say it right.
Yeah. Okay, but, right? You didn't think of, when they said STEM, did you think of Scully at all or no?
No, not anymore. I used to, maybe 20 years ago, but STEM is everywhere.
Okay, cool.
There have been so many STEM initiatives in education over the last 2 decades that I no longer associate it with her.
Wow, okay. Are you excited about this director's cut of I Want to Believe coming out? Did you see that news, dude?
We do not need this. No one is asking for this.
No.
I can only imagine that the director's cut is going to be even worse than the theatrical release, which is also garbage.
Yeah, I Want to Believe is such a dog shit movie. I remember going with Dylan and having a terrible time. It's like one of those moments, or a movie I saw in theaters that was so unpleasant, it stuck with me. And the idea that the internet's excited of like, oh, it's going to be R now, and Chris Carter's going to get to do what he wants. And like you think, I don't want Chris Carter to do what he wants. I kind of want him to stay in his office.
No one's excited.
Yeah.
The internet is not excited. This is just a weird cash grab or something.
Will you, just because completist, glutton for punishment, are you going to watch this thing either way?
I will.
Probably, yeah. I don't know where I am. I might. But anyway, okay. Nice little X-Files tangent there. That's a boom. 2007, she was accepted into Yale, and then her second year is when she got into this Amistad lab. And they looked through her phone and texts. There's nothing suspicious going on. Now, the last word anyone heard from her was at 10:11 a.m. She had sent an email to coworkers that she's going to be gone for 2 weeks to get married. The IP address shows it was sent from the lab. This is where I got confused. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
Her office and the lab, different buildings. Dog. Different buildings.
Oh, interesting.
So that's why the IP address, which was only half mile away, it was like down the street or whatever, but it shows that that email was sent from the lab, not her office. So now they've got to go to this other location and see what's going on there.
So that in and of itself says that she was at the lab Tuesday morning. So police need to go to the lab.
They go to the lab, search there, there's nothing suspicious, but here's the good news. What's the good news security-wise about a lab at Yale University?
Well, because they're so fancy, they have a record of everyone that comes in and out. They have cameras and they have a digital record because you have to swipe your card to get in and out of not just the building, but the actual lab itself inside the building.
So you need keycard access to go to any room in this building. So this is good news.
Mm-hmm.
Investigators work with building security to get a log of the last time that Annie swiped into her lab room.
So now they look at security footage, and they see, sure enough, who do they see on the camera going into work around 10 a.m.?
They see Annie. She's carrying some of her gear and going into the building, wearing exactly what her roommate said she was wearing.
Yep.
But the interesting thing is, they don't see her leave the building.
Yeah, and they continue to watch this footage. And they're looking for any time someone goes in and out. And what's weird is they cover 3 hours, right? They get to almost 1 p.m., everybody in the building leaves, like at the same time. So they're going, oh, wow, like somebody potentially set this alarm off on purpose because the fire alarm went off. Everybody had to clear out. And so everybody did, but we still don't see Annie.
She did not leave when that fire alarm went off. So they're looking at this as the window of when she disappeared, sometime between 10 a.m. and the fire alarm.
Yeah.
Is there a connection between the alarm and Annie's disappearance? Investigators find the answer for what set it off.
They find out that someone had lifted like a steam lever in one of the labs, and the steam had set off a fire alarm. So they talked to the 2 researchers that were responsible for that also did not leave the site. I believe they stayed there. Maybe that's part of the protocol.
Yeah.
Like they just...
I think so. They had to stay and...
My mistake.
Fix it. And maybe even if the fire alarm went off for a completely unrelated reason, there'd still be some people that stay just for protocol.
Yeah. The 2 researchers, they're interviewed. Are they involved? But they talk to them and no red flags are going up. Jonathan gets into town. They talk to him. This is now like 30 hours after she's gone missing. He takes a polygraph, and how's it go?
He passes.
Yeah. He looks clean. Like he's got an alibi, and he passed this polygraph, which is all good, and we know cops love it. Something interesting, I gotta tell you this.
Did he pass with flying colors?
What?
Or did he just pass?
No, he just passed. Oh. So interesting thing there.
There was no video of him entering or exiting the lab. Also, we were able to confirm that he was out of town at that time, and he was cleared from the investigation.
So I'm listening to another last podcast on the left, What Up? And they're doing like a redux on Gary Ridgway, Green River Killer.
Sure.
So he was a suspect for years and years and years, okay? Like many times interviewed and stuff for a bunch of different reasons. But one of the reasons why it took over 20 years to catch him, wouldn't you know that he passed every polygraph test he was given?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's almost as if they are unreliable.
Yeah, and especially when it comes to, like, in their mind, like, again, this is not about the Green River Killer, but there are so many things where he was around always, where it's like, oh, he's a suspect again. Weird. But what makes it so the cops say, not him, is this dumb polygraph. And it's like, well, he's a psychopath. Like, the people who can pass these on purpose, anyway, I heard that and I was like, of course he passed it every time.
And as I've said before, I would fail it every time, even if I had absolutely nothing to do with the crime. Because I'm a nervous Nancy.
Absolutely. And something strapped to you and stuff.
I'd be like really conscious of my breathing.
Yeah.
To the point where it would just be so erratic and insane.
They talk to the friends who also say it's not the boyfriend. There's nothing wrong with their relationship. They were excited to get married. And we see cute ass pictures of them in the same shirt. Like,
oh, yeah.
Because she's tiny.
She's
and
little.
He's a smaller guy too. But she's like inside his dress shirt that he has on and stuff. And I was like, oh, right?
It's cute.
I felt for her. Yeah.
They had such a great relationship. They were the sweetest couple I'd seen.
So now they got to talk to everybody in this building. It's over 100 students they got to talk to. Well, I say students, but it's 100 people, right? Because we're going to talk to a custodian. There are lab techs. There are students. Like, there's all sorts of people in here. But it's over 100, and they've got to talk to them. One of these people say, hey, I saw blood spots on a container on Annie's lab cart. And so they're like, oh, they're still going missing. We're worried it's foul play, but she's still just missing. But now they're going, sounds like we have a crime scene. But who is that person that spotted the blood on her cart?
Was it the janitor?
No, it was one of the two researchers that was responsible for the fire alarm going off.
Right.
How about that?
Another PhD researcher named Rachel. She tells us that she sees what looks like bloodstains on a hygienic wipe container that's on a lab cart in Annie Lay's lab.
Interesting. So now it's like, oh, okay. Remember that.
It's crazy that it's been like 30-something hours and they're just now thinking, oh, wait, this is a crime scene. We should look around.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll wait. This is another aspect of this case that fascinated me, was the way that they had to handle the crime scene because of where it happened. Right? So we'll wait till we get there, but it was super interesting. It was super interesting. Okay, they blacklight the walls. They don't say luminol. Okay? They don't, but they say that they sprayed something and it was showing positive for asophopate or something, which means what could be on the walls, Kate?
Blood.
No, dog. Seminal fluid. Remember?
There'd be seminal fluid on the walls?
That's where they found the seminal fluid, yeah.
Oh.
That's the first thing they found before blood.
Huh.
Which is weird when you think about it, but
That's weird as hell.
I found something that was fluorescing on the wall, and it tested positive with acid phosphatase, so it was potentially seminal fluid.
So, but they've got this blood. This is where my questions begin. They test this blood to see if it's Annie's. It is, and the turnaround is insane. And the way that they frame it in this episode, it's like they tested the blood at the crime scene. Is that true?
It can't be.
But do you remember the part I'm talking about? Like they said because of, here, wait, I wrote it down.
Well, remember in One Battle After Another, he tests that blood on the spot with that little machine.
Yeah, true.
Because of the access that we had to the lab and the fact that we didn't have to wait for any testing to be performed. Blood samples that were found in the lab were tested immediately.
Oh, they tested it literally with the school's equipment.
That's what I'm assuming here. That's pretty fascinating, isn't it?
That is interesting, yeah.
Because part of me wants to go, well, we don't know who did it yet. That could be like, you could be crossing streams somehow. Do you know what I mean? Like, is it a good idea to test something at the place where it happened?
Yeah, I wonder if there's actually protocol against that.
Yeah. We talked to Melissa Dunkley. This is the former custodian who worked there and knew Annie as like a smiling face that was nice and stuff. She wasn't like buddies with her, but she was like, oh, I remember her. She was so nice.
And you can tell she was.
What?
You can tell Annie was really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. When this happens on the Tuesday, this is what I was going to say about the evidence where the cops cannot shut down this crime scene. This place has to stay open during everything we're talking about because of these experiments. Like she tested stuff with mice, like there's animals involved somehow, but they're like, we can't shut down this lab. It'll ruin countless number of experiments. This also was very interesting.
It'll ruin probably billions of dollars worth of R&D.
That too.
There's a very delicate balance that we were trying to strike between conducting an unfettered investigation and being mindful of the research project.
So Melissa, the custodian, says, we'd come into work and it'd be weird because all the lab techs or the students thought the custodians did it and we thought they did it. And so it was real awkward and stuff.
They looked at us as suspects and we looked at them as suspects.
Do you think that's true, or that was the Killer Among Us producers trying to make it seem like it's one of us?
I could see that. My first thought was she could tell that they all thought that they did it because they're custodians and she was being nicer about it. But she wanted to say, these motherfuckers thought we did it or something. But I think you might be right, Kate. It does sound like something the producers would be like, can you say the word among or something?
Right. I would never think that this woman would do it. Never in a million years.
So again, with these swipes, they get the logs of when she swiped in and out of places. And she had swiped into room G13 at 10:11 a.m. And there were 4 other people that swiped into that room after her. So right now this is good. Only 4 people, right? I mean, that could have been 30 or something. But we're getting little pieces, right? This is where I'm like, ooh, this is good. This is good. This is good stuff. Okay, so they know that she went in there at 10:11. So there are 4 other people that swiped in after her. Guess who one of those 4 people is? It's
the lab tech who started the fire alarm and
who
discovered
found
the blood.
Rachel, the researcher, is one of those 4 people, okay?
And she didn't do it. I knew
wait.
She didn't do it.
I know, but for the sake of the fact that we're talking about a murder mystery, Kate, let's let it float out there that it could be her.
I know, but it's like, it's not going to be a woman. It's not.
All right.
Just another lab researcher? No.
Okay, all right. Fair enough, but right now Rachel keeps coming up. She keeps coming up.
So one of the people who swipes into Annie's lab was Rachel, the same person who actually noticed the bloodstains on the box.
Also a guy named Tim. They said he was a postdoc or something. He had also come in, and so does animal care person Ray Clark. Also a 4th person who works for HVAC repair. That guy's name is Larry Godfrey. But when they describe Ray Clark, the animal guy, the FBI dude they talked to is so funny. He was describing his job description, and the first thing he said was, he keeps the animals alive. Great.
He does a little bit more than that. Let's give him some credit. It's an actual job.
Yeah. But when he led with that, I was like, oh, okay.
Ray worked at the lab. He was an animal tech, and he would do things like keep the animals alive, feed them, clean the cages.
And all 4 of these people, they all have keycard access to every room in the building. Specifically Ray Clark, because he cares for the animals and stuff. And then the HVAC guy, he does it because he's got to be able to look at the pipes and the ducts and stuff everywhere. Okay, all right. Cops want to talk to Larry.
And then,
what?
So we're thinking ductwork, missing body.
True. Very true.
And we never saw her leave the building.
No.
So the cops are like, either she left the building in pieces inside a bag, or she's still in the building.
Right. They want to find Larry, but they can't.
This was so suspicious.
This guy, they didn't have a phone number for him.
They couldn't find an address or a phone number for him. And I'm like, how is he allowed to be employed and have access to a school if they don't have a real address for him?
That's a great point. I didn't consider that. I think because he's like a traveling guy for this HVAC company. Because when they do eventually find him, he's at a hotel. So,
but is he living in the hotel?
Good point, because they even say the word transient at one point. They're talking about this is a guy who moves around and stuff.
Larry is somewhat transient.
I was cracking up at how awful this show was to Larry. They were just
Yeah.
talking shit on him left and right.
Yeah, well, and because they talk to other women in the lab, and they say that Larry Godfrey is a friggin' weirdo.
That he's a creep, and he would be all weird with all the women.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, Larry, what are you doing?
There was some talk about Larry being a little creepy. Larry stuck out as a suspect.
They were able to clear Rachel and Tim, the two researchers, because they hadn't gone in that room until after 1:30. And as far as we know, she disappeared before 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So it's down to Ray Clark and Larry Godfrey are like the two main suspects. And they both have good reasons for it. They talk to Ray, the animal care guy, and he tells cops that he left for lunch at 12:45 and that he saw Annie leave 15 minutes before that. So according to this guy, Annie left at 12:30. They look at the footage.
They know he's lying.
Okay, he's lying, but it's...
Because she did not leave at 12:15.
He's saying she left the room at 12:30.
Oh, I thought she took her lunch break and left, is what he was saying.
No, but they look at the security footage. They see Ray Clark leave with everybody else at 12:56 when the fire alarm gets pulled. And they're going, well, he's a liar. He said 12:45.
We have to wonder why. Is it an innocent mistake, or is there something more sinister at play here?
But my counter would be like, he left the room then. It might take him 11 minutes to get his stuff. Or like, do you know what I mean? It wasn't a 2-hour discrepancy. It was 9 minutes, 11 minutes.
Another thing that was weird is they're looking at him on the footage during his lunch break. And they kept saying he looks distraught, like he has his head in his hands.
Well, because they follow him.
I'm looking at that footage, and to me, it did not look like he had his head in his hands and he was distraught. It looked like he was just sitting there.
I got to disagree with you. His head was in his lap. I mean, I thought you were going to say he was sleeping. Like, I can't say he was distraught, but he definitely was sitting on steps and had his hand on his arms, on his knees. I'll agree with them on that, because this is like a fire alarm. Everyone else was hanging about the building. He walked across the street to some steps, and thank God they had a camera pointing over there. So I feel like that's part of the weird part, but I thought he totally looked suspicious, but not you, huh?
I didn't really get that vibe.
Okay. Oh, yeah, because they say it looks like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Right? The weight of the world.
So dramatic.
What looks to be with the weight of the world on his shoulders.
So Ray looks good. The more they hear about Ray, it looks good. But still, they're going, that Larry Godfrey. There's something off about that weirdo.
He's just such a weird creep with no house.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, and so they go back to the security footage because they're going, we were looking for people's faces. What if someone snuck her body out in like a box? Now we got to revisit. Did anybody wheel anything out or anything? And they see Larry coming in at 11:30, and he does have a box under his arm, but this is not a body box.
No, it's like a modem.
Yeah, and so he enters then, and then he leaves at 2:30, no box. But he leaves with nothing. Mm-hmm. So now they're thinking, absolutely, we found blood. Her body's somewhere in this building. It has not left yet.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy. It must have been, I don't want to say fun for these detectives.
Right. Yeah.
But the fact that in such a short amount of time, they're getting all these clues and pieces to put together, it must have felt like they were really narrowing it down. Like they weren't, this case doesn't feel like it was frustrating for them because they had so many leads to follow, and the cameras and the digital data was just so helpful.
Key card access.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I feel like it was frustrating because they can't close down the crime scene, and then there's gonna be something else annoying later. But you're right, and all of this is happening within days. So I feel like this must be one of their favorite cases because they didn't really have to go to bed going, oh no, it's somebody we don't know. These are the hardest to do. Woe is me.
Right. And there were no weird leads they had to follow. Everything was really just in this building.
Yeah, good point. So they finally find friggin' Larry Godfrey at a hotel. They talk to him. They get permission to search his room. They search his van. You know, so a van. All right.
Classic.
We looked through his cleaning equipment and supplies. Nothing suspicious.
And he voluntarily gives up his DNA. All right, so now it's 3 days later. They're bringing in dogs, good old cadaver dogs, to sniff for something. Now, Melissa, the custodian, this was another thing that was so friggin' cool, and I wanted to high-five her. She's in room G22. Okay, it's a storage room only for custodians. And she sees the drain. The drain is open. And she looks down there like wants to close it off or put the lid back on it. What's that she's smelling there, Kate?
She looks in the drain. It looks kind of weird. She smells bleach. And that's a red flag because
Big one.
there's a ban on bleach in that building. They are not allowed to use bleach. I imagine it could interfere with potential experiments and stuff. They had gone fully green for their cleaning products.
Yeah.
So she's like, what?
Something's up.
Something's up.
The taboo of using bleach is widely known among employees and contractors alike. Melissa immediately alerts detectives.
So mad points to Melissa on this of telling the cops about this. These are the kind of things I love where the killer should not. I feel these are things you don't think of ahead of time. I don't think. But when you're a custodian, you're working with these products all the time. It's like you're very aware.
Yep.
You smell bleach, that could get you fired. Let's tell the cops about this. So this is when they bring a reagent in, not luminol, not Blue Star, but a reagent, and it shows up orange, which is weird, but that means blood.
Yeah, blood in that drain.
So what's with this orange stuff they were spraying, Kate?
I don't know, man. I'm feeling very disrespected against luminol.
Yeah, luminol or Blue Star. No matter if it's one or the other, blue is the color it becomes. So for it to become orange and them not name it was weird to me. I was like, wait, what?
Very strange.
I used this reagent, and when I use it around the drain, I get the characteristic color change, which lets me know that there's blood in this area.
Both Larry and Ray have access to that storage room. Could be either of them. Because they also, this blood, I believe they confirm, because of how easy it is, this is Annie's blood in here, too.
Yes.
So now they're going, okay, so there's blood in her lab room, there's blood in this storage, so like the body's been moved or something. But they're definitely thinking murder.
Because it had been 4 days and there's blood. Even if she had been alive, she probably wouldn't still be alive after 4 days with massive bleeding.
True. So they look who has access to the storage room because they've got those key cards. And one person of those 4 people had entered that storage room. Who was it, Kate?
Ray.
It was Ray Clark. Now you're thinking he does keep animals alive. So that probably involves cleanup. So he could be going in here a bunch. But on this day, this Tuesday, in 2009, he used his access card 11 times in one day to go in this room. And the cops even do the legwork where they're going, okay, well, how often does he usually use it?
Only about 3.
Yeah, it was 3 times in the past 10 days. And he used it 11 times.
In one day.
Ray Clark, he's in that top spot now. They talked to him. Here's what else is nuts. They're looking at Ray. He's worked here 5 years. He's a lab tech.
His girlfriend also works in the building.
His fiance. He shows up to work with his fiance. They're both in scrubs, right? Like he has a fiance, and they're going to, no criminal charges, 5 years. What's the deal? They talk to his fiance.
She can't believe that they would even be considering him for this because he's so sweet. He's never been aggressive. He's never shown anger. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah. The cops are thinking, all right, okay, let's talk to Ray. They bring him in and he goes, no, I go in there all the time for cleaning. That's it. That's all I can tell you. And so the cops, they put a tail on Ray. This is now like 3 days since she's been gone.
I was really surprised they did this.
Yeah.
This is some old school detective work. And I know that they do this still, but it just, it kind of felt like overkill to follow this like nerdy lab tech, but they do it.
Yeah, and it's a consistent tale where this is day 3, so now a few days pass.
And they find that when they're tailing him, he's just doing like pub trivia with his friends and like going to the store and hanging out with his fiance.
Yeah, playing baseball in the park, goes home, absolutely normal guy. They are stumped. Now 5 days pass, okay? And this is now September 13th, which apparently was the day of the wedding.
The wedding day, yep.
Okay, they are alerted at midnight on Sunday to a foul smell. There is an odor coming from the men's room. And the cop takes one step in this bathroom, and what does he say? He goes, well, I know that smell.
Oh, that's decomp.
That's decomp, baby. He knows it.
There was no doubt in my mind what it was. It's the odor of human decomposition. But we can't really figure out where it was coming from.
He knows it, but he's looking around the bathroom going, where though? Like, I don't see body parts in the trash. They're not in the toilet. They're not in the sink.
So they gotta bring in a best little boy
Yep.
to help them out.
They bring in a Blue.
We have one of our cadaver dogs come to the scene and search the room.
Straight up, the dog goes to a toilet in a stall and will not budge. The dog is like, this is the spot. So they're looking around, and above the toilet on the wall is like a 1 foot by 1 foot square metal door, right?
Yep.
So they're going, oh, okay, let's crack this open. What happens when they crack that open?
The smell they're hit with is pretty intense, and right away, they see a foot.
They see a foot. Yeah. So instantly they're going, okay, it smells in here. There's a body in here. There's a foot. We found the body. She is definitely dead. They showed a picture, and the way that they timed it, it was like they were going to show us a foot sticking out. There was no foot sticking out.
No foot?
I didn't see anything.
The way they zoomed in on it,
Yeah.
too. There was like insulation foam in there.
Yeah.
And they zoomed in as if we could see anything.
Yeah, and that's what I take issue with. Not to a point where I'm mad at the show and it's like I will refuse to watch it. But I'm not mad that I didn't see a dead body. I'm annoyed at the way they framed it, where I thought I was supposed to be looking for one. And
Yes.
the fact that there was nothing in the picture irked me a little,
Yeah.
I feel.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But we see pictures of it, and there's some blood smears and stuff. Now, this was, again, the crime scene thing, where they can't close down the crime scene because there are things going on. Now, they've got to get a body out of a foot-by-foot square hole in the wall. They bring in the medical examiner, which is they do not do. That only happens on, like, British detective shows and stuff.
Yes. Well, they made a point of saying that, too. This is highly unusual
Yeah.
to have the medical examiner at the crime scene
Yeah.
right on the spot.
They had to, like, disassemble the wall to get her body out.
It was clearly a brutal murder. It took some effort to move her body.
So this is another thing where it's like they can't just pull it out. Also, they had to be careful breaking into the wall because the dust could mess with the crime scene, with the body in there.
Yep.
This was another fascinating point where I was like, wow. So they do. They take the wall apart and get her out of there and send her off for an autopsy. And then they got to break it to the fam. They want to compare DNA from their suspects to the crime scene. Now, they've got Larry Godfrey's DNA ready because he was willing. But they don't have Ray Clark's.
Still need DNA from the man rising to the top of their short suspect list. Ray Clark.
So they get a warrant for his DNA and they search his place, which I thought was interesting because they'll talk about it. People are still following him. So I wonder if they were also looking for, say, a stray cup that he tosses, or maybe he smokes a cigarette and flips it out the window or something, right?
Or a pizza box, like Shrek.
Pizza box, classic.
Sexy Rexy.
So they get the warrant, they get his DNA, and by September 17th, they have an answer. This is now, like not even 2 weeks since the murder. It's like it's a little over a week, right, since she went missing. September 17th, they get the answer. They got the DNA. They knows who it is. They found the DNA in her body. Who does that DNA belong to?
It's Ray, the lab tech.
It's Ray Clark. Now, lucky for them, he's being followed right now. So they call up that team and go like, keep real close on him.
Arrest him.
Well, yeah, they want to. I don't know why they didn't do it instantly, because they're following him, and they said it looked like he was trying to get out of town because his fiance was with him, and they ended up staying at a hotel outside of town. So they just assumed he was like making a run for it.
Right.
And I'm going, well, why didn't you arrest him instantly when the team was on him? And I think they said it in the show. This could just be cops, protecting their image, but they're like, it could turn into like he could take his girlfriend, his fiance hostage, or he could shoot himself or something if he knows it's coming.
Oh.
I'll buy that.
I don't think he was trying to get out of town. If he's
what were they doing?
If he's with his fiance and they're at a hotel, like they may have just been trying to go away for a couple days, not like be on the run forever, because she didn't know anything about this.
No.
She wasn't like, "Oh, you're guilty. We should flee and I'll be with you the whole time."
But they also didn't tell us that the fiance was unwise in the car. Like they did not close that loop for us of what her reaction was being in the car. So I don't know. I just feel like, especially like if they drove 5 hours or something and stayed at a hotel, but I feel like this was right outside of New Haven, it felt like.
But then why would they even stay at a hotel that close to home anyway, even if they were going to flee?
Yeah, good point. Well, it could be, I could see this, like the fiance, since she's we suppose, is in the dark. She doesn't know anything. She's like, no, I'm tired now. It's nighttime. Let's just stop here. So he's kind of like trying to escape, but not let on why they're escaping and stuff. I don't know.
Or what if they were just going to a hotel to have a little romantic night away from the house?
I agree. And if they had said that Ray had a roommate, I would say, Kate, you're probably right. But I'm staying on the fence on this one.
Okay.
Because I feel like he lived alone. They searched his place and stuff. But also...
He didn't live with the fiance?
I don't know. Good cue.
Who knows?
So the cops theorize, they arrest this guy. And their theory is that he had gotten that email about the 2 weeks. They think that Ray had proposed something. Like he tried to make a move on her or something. She denied it, and he snapped and killed her. All murder is senseless.
Yep.
But Kate, why did he do this?
I agree. I don't know that's the motive. He's got his own fiance.
Yeah.
He hadn't cheated on his fiance with anybody else.
No.
The idea that he was in love with Annie and she just talking about her upcoming wedding was enough to set him off. It just doesn't make sense. They work together like every day.
Yeah, and so they did talk to a friend that said Ray had maybe asked Annie to hang out one time. And Annie had politely told him that I'm getting married. Like it's not going to happen. So there was proof that he was interested. But I'm just with you. I'm like, he went to work with his fiance. Everyone knows she's getting married this weekend. I thought in my head he didn't know that fact. And I was like, God, I wish he knew that she was going to get married that weekend. Then this murderer probably wouldn't have done it. Because I've asked a girl out and they said, actually, I'm getting married this weekend. That's happened to me. I laughed my ass off and said, have a great day. And it was, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why this made him go, oh, but I'll never have you now. Now I must have you in this lab room.
Right now.
And then move
here.
Yeah.
And then kill you. Even though I have absolutely no criminal record whatsoever. And I've never hurt anybody before.
And also he knows how these key cards work. That would be the thing that would stop me. If I was a person who was willing to kill somebody, I'd go, ooh. But every time I go in that storage room, they're going to know I went in there. How do you not? He's worked there 5 years.
Yeah. And these are not dumb people. These are very, very smart people.
Yeah. Well, he's a lab tech though. And this was why I like the custodian, Melissa, because she said a thing that was like, she said, well, he was a lab tech, so he's basically like us. Like she kind of said that, and I was like, good for you, girl. Yeah.
He was a lab tech, so he didn't have an office. So he was basically like a custodian like me.
Which I thought that was kind of funny.
Like he could never get into Yale, but he can work at Yale.
Yeah. I mean, he was in there to pick up poop from the mice and stuff while he's checking their pulse or whatever.
Uh-huh. But also, you see pictures of him, and he looks totally normal. There's only one...
A goober.
There's only one picture where he kind of has psycho eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest, he looks like a totally normal, kind of nerdy kid.
He looks like a pushover nerdy guy. Like, he looks so innocent and... boop, 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 boop. Like, he just kind of had a dopey vibe to him. Just to say, he doesn't look like a murderer, I suppose, is where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
But here's the last final crazy thing. So they're doing the math on this, and they figure that he stashed the body in the storage room, and that's when the fire alarm went off. Turns out the fire alarm going off had nothing to do with anything. It was just karma being like, now's a great time for this. Do you know, like, what? It wasn't related at all.
Nuts.
I can't. So, like we've said in the past, where like there are coincidences, this is yet more proof that coincidences exist. And I feel like cops should say coincidences don't exist when it comes to alibis. Maybe that's the right way to look at it. Because I do believe, like, look at the schedule of someone, if they did something out of the ordinary they don't do every day, that makes them look good for it. So I would get that, but I don't know how I wrap my head around this, that it just so happens someone accidentally set off the fire alarm. It's crazy because it's such a perfect way. They only had to watch 3 hours of footage pretty much. I'm sure they watched the rest, but they only had to watch 3 hours because every person in the building had to leave at 1 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
We thought he had set the alarm off to move the body, but that wasn't the case. He was obviously in the middle of something, hands in his head, and was distraught.
It's nuts. Between that and the bleach, I'm like, dude, you were screwed, dude.
If the fire alarm hadn't gone off, where do you think things would have gone differently? Do you think he would have immediately put her body into the wall in that bathroom, or kept it in the storage room longer, or what?
I wonder if his plan was to leave it in storage and then after hours somehow get it out, maybe? No, but the wall is pretty permanent. I don't think he was going to take it out from the wall, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if the wall was always his plan. And even the detective said this was not premeditated. Like, this was clearly he was wronged or something. He didn't go in here thinking he was going to do this murder, which I agree with. I don't want to take it light on him, but I agree with that. I don't think this was premeditated.
Yeah. Not at all, no.
I still really wish he just said what happened so we could know, but
he never did.
He never does. He goes to trial and he pleads guilty. Is 18 months later. He pleads guilty and he gets a plea deal. And I'm going, uh-oh. But they don't say the time. I looked up the time because the episode does not tell you what his sentence was. They just say that part of the plea deal was they threw in attempted sexual assault because of the semen on the walls. Okay?
Right.
Now, I looked into this. He got 44 years for the murder and 20 for the sexual assault attempt. But those run concurrently. So 44 is the number you got to remember. But also, the sexual assault was an Alford plea.
Oh.
It was him saying, I know you have evidence that says I did this, but I'm not going to say I did it. So he's still holding out that he didn't sexually assault her.
How did it get on the walls?
That's what I want to know. Why the walls?
Like, he pulled out and just went like, everywhere?
It's a good question.
Like, on purpose?
Good question. I don't know.
None of this makes sense.
It really doesn't. And it's just such a bummer that I love the Alford plea when it's for someone who I think is innocent. I hate it when it's for somebody guilty. I don't understand the point of it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's the other bummer is in 2023, there was a new law for young offenders that you get parole opportunities 60% of your sentence. So he will be eligible for parole in like 20 years or something like that.
But for young offenders, he won't be young.
No, but he was, at the time of the offense, he was 24 or 23 or something.
Okay.
I mean, look, I think it's BS as well. But also, I feel like whenever I do math of like if somebody gets out on parole, I always kind of cut it in half and add a little. I feel like 60% I just assume is what it will be unless you do something stupid or else. But I want to know what happens when he goes to the parole board and says, well, I don't have to admit to that. I want him to say he did the sexual assault if he thinks he's going to get paroled. I need that. I need to hear that before. What do you think?
You need to hear it. Kurt Money.
Me personally. Yeah. Get me on the horn in 2048 or whatever. Okay. I want to hear it. All right. I'm going to be on a Zoom. Oh boy. All right. I think it's time for those lists.
Kate's unnamed list. I don't think I have anything, Kurt.
I don't think so either. I do not think so either. The episode following this is a town of hundreds of people. I was like, oh, snap.
Well, that was one reason why I loved the first episode, because it was a town of like 4 people, Kurt.
Yep, good call. Look, you know what? It could still happen. We've done multiple of shows before, so who knows? All right, so is that all you got?
That's it.
On to Kurt's Kick-Ass List.
Kick-Ass List.
I've got a few things, but they're all the same thing. These mofos said red flag 3 different times in this episode. Huh?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so it's not throwing up red flags just yet. There's number 1.
It's not throwing up red flags, but we can't rule him out as a suspect just yet.
Oh, wait! Also, there were not signs of any struggle. It was not word for word, but it counts, baby.
Oh, yeah, that counts.
They don't see any signs of some sort of struggle. There's no drawers open.
So I got signs of struggle. I've got like 3 red flags.
Every passageway, every duct, that raises a red flag.
That was pretty exciting for me. Let's see if that's all I got. Yeah, red flag. Okay. Oh, because Larry was a transient, so that was a red flag to them. This is when they were really doubting that the Larry Godfrey guy.
Him having this less than stable home address does raise a red flag.
Again, poor Larry Godfrey. Now, because of this case and shows like this, the whole world just knows that he's a weirdo loser transient who is shady. And he didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't. Well, other than he is weird sometimes. He might be a little weird, but
is he?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I mean, multiple ladies said he was.
If you ask multiple ladies about any man, they're going to tell you the same thing.
Okay. I'll agree this because they show him on the security camera. So they show what this guy looks like. Now it's his whole body. It's not like you could see his face, but you see it enough where usually when it's innocent people, they're blurred out or they don't show a picture. And that's like one of the hints that it's not going to be that person. But we saw his face on the footage all day. So I was like,
they just blew up his
I'm with
spot
you.
completely. Like, the dude is now just probably embarrassed.
Yeah. One of the theories that they were throwing around early on was that this was the usual, like, this was a high-tech lab, like maybe there were secrets or somebody was jealous they didn't get in. And so they're thinking of all these crazy things where somebody purposely pulled the thing and they did this and this and this. Mm-hmm. And yet again, we find ourselves, no, it's just a dude who heard no. Mm-hmm. Yet again, it was just a dude who heard the word no and it was over. It's just so depressing. And why, when I say, well, why don't you think it was Rachel? And you said, well, we know it's a dude. It's like, yeah, I mean, this is case in point. You're right.
It's always a dude. And when it's not, it's because the wife hates her husband and wants to kill him. Like, it's always because of a dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good app. It's a fun show to check out.
And we love hearing Alan Cumming say murder.
That's true. I didn't even think of that. There was like drama with a fan had made merch and then NBC copied that merch and sold it on their websites. And she was like,
oof,
I came up with that shit. I don't know what the result was, but
it is. But in the age of AI, how can we even prove anything anymore?
You're right. I guess
it's
we
over.
Just gotta let it slide. Oh, yeah, it's absolutely.
It's over.
It's over, yeah.
Because you could just say it's AI.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Look, I agree. But at least we've got Jimothy. Jimothy is the real deal.
Jimothy is what's keeping me going this week.
I figured, Kate. I figured you'd be pro Jimothy.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
All right. Cool. Well, and on that note, I'm Kurt Money.
I'm Kateline.
Sexy Rexy.